Poor Things is proof that if you commit hard enough to a completely ridiculous idea, you can create a masterpiece. And I do mean ridiculous. If I pitched you the plot in an elevator, you'd press every button to get away from me. And that's the thing nobody tells you about this film. The premise almost never really matters. What matters is that everyone involved believes in it with their whole chest. And this cast, this director, this crew, they believe. There isn't one frame of this film where somebody looks like they're worried if it might work or not. They just floor it and never check their rear view. Welcome back to Mildly Overreacting. Today we're talking about Poor Things. And I'll level with you right off the bat. This movie is in my top 3. I don't really have any complaints in this review. And we'll get into why. Here's the reason I even sat down to watch this film. 2 names, Emma Stone and Yorgos Lanthimos. I was already deep in my Yorgos phase before this came out. I'd seen The Lobster, I'd seen The Favorite. I was already the guy at parties telling people, no, but you have to watch this weird one. I promise it's better than I make it sound. So the second I heard these two were teaming up again, I was in. Didn't need a trailer, didn't need a plot summary, just take my money now. Alright, quick setup, and I'll keep the spoilers to a minimum, because the joy of this film is watching it unfold for yourself. Bella Baxter is a woman who's been, let's say, brought back to life by an unconventional scientist named Goodwin Baxter. She's got a fully grown adult body, but the mind of a newborn at the start. And the whole movie is her rocketing through human development at warp speed, learning to walk, to talk, to think, to want things, to question everything, while also just going into the world and grabbing life with both hands. That's the engine of all of it. A person building themselves from scratch with 0 rules installed. And that brings me to the thing that I could literally spend hours talking about, Emma Stone. This is one of the best performances of her career. And I want to be careful here because I say a lot of nice things about a lot of actors, but I don't say this lightly. What Bella asks of a performer is kind of insane when you actually stop to think about it. She has to play a character who at the start essentially is a toddler in an adult's body, and then she has to age that character up mentally across the entire runtime. Not in a montage, not with a time skip, but continuously, scene to scene. So slowly that you almost don't notice it happening until you look back and realize the person on screen is completely transformed. Think about how hard that is. Bella moves differently in every stage. Early on, she's lurching, stomping, uncoordinated, arms swinging like she just got issued limbs and hasn't read the manual. Later, she's poised, controlled, deliberate. Her speech changes, her vocabulary, the rhythm, the confidence behind her words. The way she looks at people changes. Emma has to rebuild this human being brick by brick, and every brick has to sit exactly right, or the whole illusion collapses. And that's the thing. It never even begins to tip. It would have been so easy for this to become a gimmick. Haha, look at the woman acting like a baby. A lesser take on this role plays it for cheap laughs, and you check out. Emma never lets that happen. She commits so hard to every single phase of Bella that you're never laughing at Bella. You're laughing with her. Or you're right there beside her, figuring out the world for the first time too. There's this total sincerity to it that keeps the whole thing standing. So let me try to explain what actually makes Emma stand out. Because she's talented is a nothing sentence and you deserve better. For me, it's because she disappears into the mechanics of a person. A lot of very skilled actors show you how they feel. They give you the sad face, they give you the happy face, and it's clean, and it's readable, and it's fine. Emma gives you the body and the tiny physical choices. And then the feeling arrives on its own as a result. You believe Bella has a nervous system. You believe there's a brain in there rewiring itself in real time. That's a whole different level of the craft, and she does it all while being wildly comedic, which should not be legally allowed in one person. Now I'm going to warn you guys about something. If you stick around in this channel, you're going to hear me talk about Emma Stone a lot. I'm aware of this. I've made my peace with it. There's a decent chance that in 6 months, there's a comment section full of people going, we get it, you like Emma Stone. And you know what, fair. But I'm just calling it as I see it. Alright, let me pull myself away from Emma before this turns into an Emma Stone fan video, because we gotta talk about Yorgos Lanthimos. Here's what fascinates me about this guy. Every film he makes feels like a different species of film. The Lobster is a deadpan dystopian dating nightmare. The Favorite is a period costume drama with claws. Poor Things is this wildly imaginary fairy tale odyssey. On paper, these things have almost nothing in common. And yet, and this is the magic trick, you can drop into any one of them and for 10 seconds you go, oh, that's a Yorgos movie. You just know. The rhythm of the dialogue, the way the camera behaves, The specific flavor of humor where you're not totally sure if you're allowed to laugh. He's got one of the most recognizable fingerprints of any director working right now, and he pulls it off without ever repeating himself. And the thing that he does that keeps me coming back, he takes ideas that sound completely unhinged when you describe them out loud, and he makes them land emotionally. A woman with a baby's brain and an adult body goes on a journey of self-discovery. Sounds like a dare, not a movie. In his hands it becomes tender and thoughtful, and yeah, moving. You never quite know where one of his films is heading. Every time you think you got it mapped, it takes a hard turn into somewhere you didn't expect. That unpredictability is the whole draw for me. I like not knowing what's gonna happen. And the way this world looks is amazing. The cinematography is stunning. There's this heavy use of fisheye lens that warps the edge of the frame, which sounds like it would be distracting, but it does something perfect. It makes you feel like you're peering into Bella's world through a keyhole, or like you're seeing everything the way she sees it. Slightly bent and brand new. Early sections are in black and white, and the color arrives as Bella's world expands, and it hits like a curtain being yanked open. And the sets. The city she travels to are these dreamlike, storybook constructions. Lisbon looks like a painted confession. The sky is candy colored. There are trams gliding through the air. It's fully built from the ground up. It's its own reality with its own logic, and it never breaks. The world building is so complete and so confident that you accept all of it within about 30 seconds. And let's talk about Bella herself, because she's one of the most memorable protagonists I've seen in the last decade. What makes her work as she arrives with zero social conditioning. None. She hasn't been taught to be embarrassed or polite or ashamed, or to pretend that she's fine when she's not. She does the things that she wants to do, and watching a person move through polite society with all the guardrails removed is both hysterical and kind of profound. Her curiosity is the heartbeat of the whole film. She wants to know everything, taste everything, understand everything, and she has no reason yet to be scared of any of it. And there's something contagious about that. You start seeing the world through fresh eyes right along with her. Some of the funniest stuff comes purely from her observations. She'll cut through some social nonsense with one blunt sentence and you'll realize she's just completely right, and everyone else has just agreed to be silly about it. But then the same quality that makes her hilarious also makes her journey touching, because you're watching a person decide, from nothing, what kind of human they want to be. And I can't skip around the supporting cast, because they do really well also. Mark Ruffalo, I didn't know he had it in him. I wasn't the biggest fan of Mark Ruffalo before this film, but he plays this self-satisfied lawyer type, and he plays it well. Watching him slowly fall apart over the course of this film is one of the great pleasures here. He plays pathetic very well. It's the loosest and silliest I've ever seen him, and I loved it. And William Dafoe as Godwin Baxter is doing this lovely thing where he's buried under a mountain of scar makeup, playing a man who should be a monster, but instead comes across as strangely gentle. There's a real tenderness there. He's the closest thing Bella has to a father, and Dafoe finds the soft center of a character who could have just been a spooky mad scientist cliche. So final thoughts time. This is a film that surprised me from the opening frame to the last one and never let up. It's imaginative in a way that feels boundless. It's visually unforgettable. It's very, very funny without ever winking at you. And underneath all of it, there's a real heart beating, but it earns that warmth. It never begs you to feel something. It tells its story with total conviction and trusts you to keep up. And I usually find something to nitpick, because I'm a nitpicker by nature, but sitting here trying to invent a complaint just to seem balanced would be dishonest, so I'm not going to do that. This film's 5 out of 5 for me. It walked in, immediately parked itself on my all-time favorites list, and it hasn't moved since. That's it for this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. It really does mean a lot. If you enjoyed it, do me a favor and hit that like button. It helps more than you'd think. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. And drop a comment and let me know what film I should cover next. I'm open to anything. Well, almost anything. And if it's got Emma Stone in it, you already know I'm going to say yes. See you in the next one.